Shaz Jones, and I'm the founder of Shaz Academy. And I am very pleased to introduce my guest tonight. He is a Shaz Academy client, and he's very focused, doing really well. He increased his business by 50% in the first month, and is definitely a very focused person. And I'm very pleased that he's going to join us and talk to us tonight about the 10 steps of health and fitness. Please welcome Michael Mulcahy. Welcome, Michael.
Hey, how are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Actually, I'm not that good. I woke up feeling a bit shabby this morning, so it was kind of a reminder of how important health is,
Yeah,
because
right.
it kind of changed overnight for me. So, and I
What
should
time?
just say that obviously you're the expert on health and fitness. I'm not, so I'm just hosting. I'm going to be learning along with everyone else tonight. So I'm excited to hear what you've got to say.
Yeah, cool.
And I wanted to first ask you, before we get into what you've got to say, are you qualified in health and fitness? Do you have any training qualifications?
Yeah, well, I hope so. My qualification I did through West Coast TAFE. I got a Cert 3 and 4, and that's like your basics. So that's what you need to be a personal trainer. From that, I've also got my biosignature qualification. That's the body fat assessment and hormonal profiling module that I've got. And
Okay.
other qualifications, small things like I did a Stroops performance course. The guys came over from the US and they ran a course at the gym. So a few small qualifications like that. But yeah, they're the main ones.
Yeah, because I know that you are often researching and going to different training seminars, and even watching YouTube videos online. You're always learning
Yeah,
something
all
new,
the
aren't you?
time. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I always want to study and I always want to learn. I've thought about going to uni and that, but I really like studying the stuff that I want to study. So that's why I just jump on YouTube or I go to the seminars that I want to attend, and I get the
Yeah.
most out of it. So yeah, always
Yeah, well,
learning.
just about every time I talk to you, you tell me something that I don't know, and that's why I wanted to have this webinar, because I'm really excited
Yeah,
to learn some of the stuff that you know. It's good.
yeah.
So tell me, why are you a personal trainer?
I'm a personal trainer. I love helping people. I've been through my own health and fitness journey, and I know it's tough, and I know that everybody's different, and I know that when you have someone there, supporting you, looking after you, giving you structure and all those things, it makes a massive difference. Yeah, I want to help and improve people's lives overall.
Yeah, and I know you're really passionate about it, because I keep telling you that you'd make more money if you did group training and stopped doing personal one-on-ones, but you're really passionate
Yeah, I
about doing the
love
one-on-ones, aren't you?
one-on-one. Yeah, I love it. I guess it's the attention to detail that I like. So like if I learn something new, like I want to learn how to apply that. And in a group setting, it's really hard. You're constantly trying to manage everyone, and that just drives me nuts. I love being able to just focus in on the one person, and yeah, that's where I get my most benefit.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, I want to just let everyone know who's on the call that if you stay on the call in the second half of the call, Michael's actually very generously offered to have a giveaway, and so you could win a prize, and it's worth staying on the call for, let me tell you. So don't leave the call before we've had that draw for that win. So it's coming up. I wanted to start though, let's get into the content, because I know that's what people are here for. They want to know the 10 steps to health and fitness. How do they get their best bodies? So
Yeah.
I know for me that the first thing that I need to get right is hydration. If I get that wrong and I start off drinking Coke, then I am gone for the day. So if I start off drinking water, I'm sort of fine. So why is hydration important?
Hydration is massively important. A lot of things that I've read, they're saying that your body's made up of between 50 to 65% water. Some things I've read, it's been as high as 75%. So from that, it's massively important. The majority of your body is made up of water. You're also losing that on a regular basis. So obviously when you sweat, when you go to the toilet, and even when you breathe, you're actually losing water. So you need to actually replenish that. Now, when you actually think about what you have been drinking, so like you just mentioned, drinking Coke and things like that, a lot of people are in the same boat. So when they go to drink something, they have like, a coffee or a soft drink and things like that. So they're not actually replenishing that. Now, also when you drink something like Coke or coffee, you got to remember caffeine is it's a diuretic. So you're going to go to the toilet more, you're going to lose even more water. So if you're not replenishing what you've lost, you're going to become dehydrated, and that becomes a massive stress on the body. So I think the best thing to do is to look over the day and say, all right, how much water am I actually drinking? Now, a few recommendations that I've had, the course I did, the Biosignature, which is the hormonal profiling course I did. The guy that runs that, Charles Poliquin, he recommends 39 milliliters per kilo of body weight. So if someone my weight about 75 kilos, about 3 liters a day. So if you want to break that
Wow.
up, yeah, it's a lot, but it's not really. If you break that up into 600 ml bottles, I've just got to drink 600 ml bottles. I've got this one. It's about 700 ml, so I'll do 5 of these a day. I'll probably do a bit over, but if I'm training, I'm just drinking more.
Okay. So that's
Mm.
interesting. Something you said there was that it, like water helps you and you're losing it when you breathe. I didn't know that. So you're constantly
Small amounts
losing
of things like
water.
that.
Yeah. And that helps you. And if you don't have it, not only is it not helping you, if you have something like caffeine, like a coffee or a Coke, then it's
Yeah.
harming you as well because it's actually taking water out of your body. So not only is it not putting it in, it's taking it out. So it's doubly bad. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
And you get all the sugar and all the crap as well. So yeah, no, Coke is
Yeah.
not a good choice.
It tastes so good though, Michael.
Yes, you do have to
Well,
believe it.
actually, I was just thinking because it's all about purpose, really, isn't it? If you are going to celebrate, like having something like champagne is probably a good idea because it's all about the celebration. But if you're about building an everyday health, and fit body,
Mm.
it's all about water, isn't it? So it
Yeah,
depends
you
on your
can
purpose.
have a little.
Every day should be about water, yeah.
Mm. It's something that it's super basic. Like anyone can drink more water, and it's just something that most of us neglect. I neglect it. I go through a day and I'm like far out. I think I've only had like 1 or 2 bottles of water. Like I'm definitely going to be dehydrated. And on top of that, I train most days as well. So it's something that you can easily forget about. You're just going through your day and you're like, I actually haven't drunk much today, and I've had a coffee because you're having beverages. You might have a smoothie or whatever or coffee. So you're drinking, but is it actually what you need?
So dehydration is really bad for you, isn't it? Like people can literally pass out if they get dehydrated, can't they?
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I've, I don't think I've ever been to the point where I've felt dizzy or anything. I've never ever seen anyone pass out from dehydration, but yeah, it definitely happens.
Yeah.
Another thing, dehydration is electrolytes. So when you're sweating, you're obviously depleting electrolytes, and you want to replenish those as well. Electrolytes are like your salts, like potassium and things like that. The best way to replenish that is through natural things like coconut water and things like that. That's getting massively popular now. But the problem with it getting more popular is there's a lot of companies and that who are producing coconut water that's like flavored and there's a lot of sugar and additives and things like that. So it's not as
Mm,
natural as it should be. And the
right.
other like drinks are more like your Powerades and your sports drinks. Those are often extremely high in sugar. So that's not
Yeah.
good. The best way to replenish it is your natural coconut. If you get it out of the coconut, that's as natural as you get. So
Okay. I was just thinking when
one.
the first miracle of Jesus was all about hydration, really. He changed the options. He turned it from water to wine. So obviously hydration is really important, the
Yeah,
physical
lots more
things.
wine. Lots more wine, Sharon.
Well, I'm not a big drinker. I don't have a lot in terms of alcoholic drinks. But
Yeah.
it's really only if I'm celebrating something or, out with friends kind of things. But yeah,
Mm.
it's just interesting that he injected the supernatural into hydration. So anyway, let's talk about why diets don't work. I've been on like a million diets, and I know that you're not keen on even the word diet. Tell me why diets don't work.
The thing with diets is, a lot of them actually do work, and the reason they do work is, you're given structure, you're given a template, and as long as you follow it, you're going to get, some kind of result. Now, some diets will work for some people, others won't work at all. The problem I have with diets is, they're not individualized. So, they're like cookie cutter plans, like for example, like Weight Watchers and things like that. It's a point system. So basically, each food represents a certain amount of points. So say you have, a McDonald's burger, it might be worth 15 points, and your daily target is 20 points. So you can have that burger in your diet, and you've almost wiped off the majority of your intake for the day. And then on the other hand, you've got things like isogenics, those kind of supplement meal replacement diets. Now they're almost the same because they're technically based on the calorie deficit. So you're only eating a certain amount of food. So a calorie is basically the amount of energy that a food possesses. So if you're on that 20-point plan on Weight Watchers, it might represent 1,500 calories or 1,200 calories, whatever it might be. So if you then stay on that diet for, say, your 12 weeks, your body will eventually become efficient at burning 1,200 calories. So when you then come off that, if you go back to your normal eating, where you may eat, 2,000, your body's got a surplus of 800 calories, but it's slowed down to 1,200 because of that diet you've been on for such a long time. So you're now in this massive surplus, and that's where a lot of people get that rebound after they diet.
Is that why the term like yo-yo
Yeah,
dieting comes in? Because they
exactly.
diet and lose the weight, yeah,
Yeah.
and then it's worse. So what's the alternative then? If you're not going to start calorie counting,
Yep, yep.
then what do you do? How do you control what you eat, or how do you get good results?
The best way to approach it is, you need to find out where you're at. So whenever I get a new client or I meet someone, I want to see their food. I want to see what they're eating in their general day. So from that, I'm going to find out. I'm going to get a caloric total. I'll enter it into like a calculator or something like that. I'll also see what foods they're actually eating, so I know where they're getting those calories from. So I'll also ask things like, if they crave certain foods or if they crave sugar and things like that, and if they do, when. Those things are important to know. And then from that, I'll start changing little things. I'll always start with breakfast. So the majority of people, breakfast is like cereal or toast or something really high, really simple carbohydrate based. I'll normally change that to something like high protein. So I always change the breakfast first, and then I'll slowly change other things. So
Okay.
starting off, you want to find out where you're at, and then look at improving things. So that's how I approach it to start with.
So what's the point of changing from cereal to higher protein, from carbohydrates to protein? Why is that something that's good to do for your breakfast?
The reason I normally start the day with high protein and good fats is you want to stabilize blood sugar levels from the get-go, from the start of the day. So if you eat something that's high in carbohydrate, what's going to happen is you're going to get a massive rise in blood sugar. You're also going to get a spike in insulin. So when your blood sugar goes up, your body produces insulin. Insulin will then carry that glucose or the sugar in your blood and then take it to cells. So it'll either take it to your muscle tissue or to your liver or even a little bit, a small percentage to the brain. Now, if you need it as fuel. So if your muscles are depleted, so you've actually done a workout or you've actually used that fuel, your body will generally absorb that and take on that glucose. But if you haven't trained or if you haven't done something, you don't really need that energy. Um, Also, a lot of people are resistant to insulin. So it means that
Yeah.
their body and the cells like the muscle tissue that doesn't actually recognize insulin. So insulin can't actually push that glucose, that sugar, into where it needs to go. So what happens is it then recirculates the blood. The blood sugar goes back up again. And from there, they'll crave more carbs. Like you mentioned, when you drank Coke, you wanted more things like that. And that's because your blood sugar is constantly up. So your body will naturally know that if you eat carbs, you'll produce insulin. So if your blood sugar is high, you're going to want more carbs because your body wants to produce insulin. Take that blood sugar down. So that's a faulty system. Um,
Right. My
when we,
system's definitely faulty.
yeah,
I have
a lot of
something
people,
called polycystic ovarian syndrome,
yeah, yeah,
and that affects all kinds of things. But one of the things that it affects is insulin. You're more insulin resistant.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it
So
means that your body won't tolerate carbs as well. So you probably respond better to a higher protein diet with, getting good fats and actually a lower carbohydrate intake.
that's really interesting because probably the best diet that I've had success on is was the Dr. Atkins, like the high protein
Yeah,
diet.
yeah.
I found that a lot
Hmm.
easier. So that's really interesting. So
Yeah,
tell me about hormones in general. I know that you have talked to me before about sometimes hormones, like insulin, I presume, can be inhibiting you, um, and like people are different hormonal factories, aren't they? No two people are the same chemical
yeah,
factory. So
yeah,
tell me about hormones.
yeah. Well, one of the major ones was I was just talking about insulin. If you can't manage insulin properly, you are not going to lose body fat. And even for guys, even girls, if you're trying to put on muscle tissue, if you can't utilize glucose and that for fuel, you're going to struggle putting on muscle. When I say muscle, I just mean small amounts. I'm not saying you're going to be a bodybuilder or anything like that.
Yeah, I
Um,
understand.
Other hormones like cortisol. Some people are really stressed. Now, cortisol is your stress hormone. So if you're constantly stressed, you're going to produce more cortisol. So someone who is super busy with work, doesn't get as much sleep, kind of high demand jobs, long hours, things like that, they're going to have more elevated cortisol than someone like me, whose job isn't as stressful. I get good sleep. My life is pretty balanced. Other
Right.
hormones like estrogen. So obviously estrogen is your female hormone. But what they're finding now is that even a lot of males are becoming more estrogen dominant, and that can have a lot to do with environmental factors like pollution in the air. A lot of our food contains pesticides and chemicals and things like that. Also, when we eat out of packaged foods, a lot of the plastics and that actually leak into your food. So, yeah, those chemicals when they're in the body, your body actually kind of accepts it, and they mimic estrogen. So even a lot of men are becoming more estrogenic.
Wow.
Mm.
So when you look at labels in the supermarket and they have all those chemicals like E numbers and things, or
Yeah, yeah,
numbers
yeah.
on the labels, they're all potentially affecting the hormones in your body. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the ones they label, they're normally like preservatives and things like that, so they're still not good for you. It's more the behind the scenes, like how your food's grown. So if the farmers use a lot of pesticides, those foods are now have pesticides in them, and you're ingesting that. So
Yeah.
they're toxins that they're kind of unavoidable. But
Okay.
yeah, processed food altogether is just not good. you know, the reason it's processed is because they want it to have a longer shelf life. So what that means is the food doesn't break down, it doesn't rot. So that means that it lacks the enzymes to break it down. So when you eat that, you're going to cause digestive issues and cause more stress on your digestive system because it doesn't break down
Oh,
well. You see the photos of like a McDonald's burger or takeaway, and a year later it looks the same. It doesn't have any
wow.
enzymes. It's so processed, that it literally does last.
Okay, so enzymes are like missing from the food, and
Yeah.
and they would in normal food they help you digest it and extract goodness from it, do they? They break it down for you.
So what doesn't break down for you, but your body will use those enzymes and break it down. So if you can actually break your food down properly, it means you're gonna digest and absorb the nutrients a lot better. So you're gonna get the most out of that food. So
Okay. And
yeah,
stress hinders that as well. You produce more of your stress hormone, do you?
yeah, stress can affect gut health. Now the gut is responsible for I think it's 95% of your serotonin production. So if you damage your gut, then your body's going to struggle to produce as much serotonin. So serotonin is like your feel good neurotransmitter. So a combination of bad eating for so long, you damage the gut, you produce more stress, and then your body struggles to produce as much serotonin. So that's why you see this downward spiral from things like that.
Wow. So
Mm.
again, with the stress hormone, it not only is not helping you, it's actually kind of lowering your ability to feel good in the long run. It's lowering your ability
Yeah,
to produce that serotonin, that natural high.
yep,
That's not
yep.
good.
Um, yeah, no, not at all. But don't get me wrong, cortisol has its place. So stress is good, but not over a massively extended period of time. So stress is good while you're training, for example. So when you're training, you want to be stressed because you want to perform. You want that kind of adrenaline and that kick, and the focus and that comes with it. Also, cortisol, that stress hormone, it's catabolic, so it breaks tissue down. Now, while you're training, if your goal is to, define your muscles or build your muscles, you actually want to break tissue down so you can then repair it. So cortisol is a good thing, but it has its place. So yeah,
So it helps you like rip apart your muscles, does it?
yeah, to an extent, not that dramatic. It's not like tearing apart, but yeah, you get micro tears and things like that. So yeah,
Okay.
that's
Well, if Richard's saying his blood sugar level is up right now, so if your blood sugar level is up, is there something that you can do? Like, does hydration help with that, or how can you bring your blood sugar down?
you can exercise or
Okay,
reduce your carbohydrate intake or pick carbohydrates that are low GI. So, things like sweet potato, brown rice, quinoa, even like blueberries and things like that. It doesn't create such a massive response. So you're not going to get this huge spike and then that crash. It's going to be a more stable energy release. So, and that's
okay,
why breakfast. Always change breakfast first. You want to get a stable energy release at the start of the day. You do not want that spike and then that crash.
okay. That's interesting because stability is really important in lots of things that I deal with in business as well. And the fact that that's the first thing that you want to do is stabilize someone's blood sugar is really interesting. But you just
Hmm.
mentioned the word exercise, and yet I know you've said to me that you prefer the word training. What's the difference between training and exercise?
Okay, yeah. So the difference between training and exercise is exercise is a good start. I see exercise as, just going to the gym, you're just going to go be active. So you might go and walk on a treadmill or, whatever you do. When I talk about training, training has structure, training has purpose, and it has a goal. So if you're really serious about changing your body, changing your physique, or improving your fitness and your performance, you need structure. You need a goal. So when you go to the gym, you've actually got a purpose. you're not just there aimlessly. Oh, I might do this, I might do that. And that's where people can really get disheartened because they're saying, I'm exercising, but I'm not seeing the results. It could be the fact that they're not structuring it. They've got no goal. They're just doing something random or sporadic.
So structure is important in your well, moving first of all is good, but the
Yeah,
difference
definitely.
between exercise and training, if you want to go to another level, you've got to have some kind of structure. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. Yep. It's
Okay.
massively important.
So what's one of the main things that you see people doing wrong in the gym? What's wrong about their structure?
Well, for starters, there's not normally any structure. Um,
Okay.
I think a lot of people in the gym they probably haven't established a real goal. I think a lot of people say they might want to lose weight, but you need to establish that goal because that's going to in turn create that motivation. So once you've got your goal, you know what you're aiming for. From there, you can then develop a plan to actually get to where you want to be. So yeah, I see people just walking in on the treadmill. They might do 30 minutes and then they go do their 10 minutes of weights and whatever, and then they'll do that day in day out. They won't change their workouts. Yeah, they lack a plan and they lack structure.
Now, I've seen you showed me some before and after photos of your clients,
Yeah,
um, and you have had amazing results in like transforming the way they look,
yeah,
let alone the way they feel. So, when someone sets a goal, do you help them set that goal, or
yeah,
is it pretty much up to them what they want to achieve?
yeah. Well, I just try and really dig deep and find out what they want to achieve. So most people say, oh, I want to lose weight, or I want to look better, things like that. So I'll then dig deeper and find out, why they want to lose weight or why they want to look better, because that's what's really going to motivate them. I often find that, the reason they want to lose weight is, they want to feel better about themselves or they want more confidence and things like that. So that's what's going to be the driving factor when, things get hard. That's what's going to keep them motivated and keep them going. That's the real goal. So it's not just that they want to look better, they want to feel better about themselves, they want to be more confident and things like that. So yeah, that's how we set goals.
Okay, now you just talked about motivation as well.
Mm.
I know that that's something that I struggle with, the consistency of doing it. I might get really excited and think, okay, I'm going to go up the park and I'm going to go for a jog, and that's all good one day. And then by the next day, it's like, I don't even want to go for a walk today. So, how do you develop that motivation, or how do you get that consistency?
Um, yeah, like I talked about before, having that structure, knowing your goal, remembering why you train, with consistency, you also want to be seeing results as you're going through the journey. So, I do measurements and assessment, on a fairly regular basis, monthly for people, less frequent for others. But you want to constantly be tracking your progress so you know that you're actually, going somewhere and making a difference. So that's what's going to help keep people consistent, staying motivated and, find things that inspire you. In the past, I've used personal trainers, I've had a coach, and it makes a massive difference. You want to have someone that's helping you and pushing you along. Someone that believes in your goal just as much as you. Yeah, it makes a massive difference.
Yeah. There's two really interesting things you just touched on there for me, because I've found that when you said it's about results,
Mm.
that's for me that's really really true. When I get some feedback that I've lost so many centimeters here, or I've lost this many kilos, or I've change my body mass index or whatever, those
Mm.
results really help me. Even the fact, like I use an app sometimes, Runkeeper or something like that, and just
Yep.
getting that feedback straight away, knowing that I've just, done a 4K walk or whatever, it helps you stay motivated when you get those sort of results. And also you mentioned about having someone else. Like for me, that really helps if I have someone else around who motivates me and who like is literally there to keep me, I guess, accountable. Is accountability important?
Yeah, massively. If no one's keeping tabs on you, no one knows if you don't rock up to the gym or if you don't get your sessions done, if you don't eat right. Having someone there to push you along makes all the difference. Yeah, and doing those frequent checks, getting those results, that motivates you more. So when I get a client and they've got results, they do really well again. It's when they don't get results and then the motivation drops. You've got to pick that up somewhere.
Yeah. So now let me talk to you about sleep, because I was watching an interview with Jennifer Lopez this morning on on Sunrise, and they said to JLo, "You look beautiful, and you've been doing it for so long, and you're so fit and healthy. What are your secrets?" And the first thing she said was, she said, "I don't really have any secrets, but I try and get a good night's sleep." Why
Yep.
is sleep important to health and fitness?
So sleep is massively important. Sleep's when you recover. It's when your hormones regulate. It's when you reduce stress. Yeah, it's that recovery period. So the thing with sleep is it's not just about the quantity of sleep. So they reckon the average adult needs about 7 to 9 hours sleep. But yeah, it's about that quality. So if you're waking up in the middle of the night constantly, even though you might be getting the 7 to 9 hours, it's not quality. It's disturbed and it's broken up. And yeah, that's a massive factor. You want to be sleeping all the way through. So if you're waking up in the morning and you're still feeling lethargic and things like that, you probably haven't got that quality there. So yeah, there's a few things that you can do to improve that.
Yeah. Well, it sounds counterintuitive to me. When I think about health and fitness, I kind of, in my mindset, it's all about hard work and going and doing something. So
Yeah.
sleeping kind of sounds like the opposite of that, but you're saying that it's really, really important.
Yeah, well, if you're going to go and work hard, you've got to then recover, because if
Okay.
it's all work and no rest, and that's where you get those issues with stress and things like that. Another thing with sleep is caffeine. A lot of people drink coffee in the evenings and even in the late arvo. Caffeine can stay in your blood for up to 6 hours. Now, caffeine actually elevates that stress hormone cortisol.
6 hours?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that. Okay.
It affects people differently. So some people can have, the people who have 10 coffees and they're still a zombie. And there's other people that have one coffee and they're absolutely wired.
Yeah.
But yeah, it stays in your blood for a while. So doing simple things like cutting your coffees off at say 4 o'clock if you know you're going to bed by 10 or things like that, they can make a massive difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess it makes sense to, I'm just thinking about it now, when you watch the State of Origin or an AFL match or even a tennis match, they always have like a quarter time break or a halftime break or a break between games. They always have built into it some kind of rest time. And these are professional athletes that are paid to do this. So I guess rest is really, it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, rest is just as important as training. So if you're working out really, really hard, you might be doing all the right things in the gym, but then your lifestyle and your recovery period after doesn't match. That's where you won't get results either. So everything has to be in hand. So stress is good. You need stress. It creates a stimulus. It makes your body change and adapt, which is what you want when you train. But you then need to back it up with that proper recovery. So sleep, getting good nutrition, things like that.
Well, I'm not doing too well on the nutrition or the training, but when it comes to sleep, I have nailed it, let me tell you.
Right.
So, I've asked a poll for those who are watching, when they've tried to get fit on their own, have they nailed it, have they failed it, or have they bailed it? So you can vote now and let us know. We'll display the results at the end. When it comes to sleep, I've nailed it, so I'm pretty happy about that. Now, tell me about supplements. Is it a good idea to take supplements, or should you be getting all of your nutrition needs from your food, or what do you think about supplements?
I think supplements are great. I use loads of supplements. I've gone through periods where I use loads and loads of supplements. Um, but yeah, you want to get the majority of your vitamins and minerals from your diet, your nutrition. Okay, so you want to maximize that first. Once you've got that, then the supplements come in. That's why they're called supplements. You supplement your nutrition. And
Uh-huh. I'd never even thought about that term before.
really,
Okay, that's why they're called supplements. That's
yeah,
good.
makes sense, right? So yeah, when it comes to supplements, I start with the basics. So things like fish oil, zinc, magnesium, quality multivitamin, vitamin D3. I also take things like probiotics, and then there's all your workout supplements like the protein powders and things like that. And they're all beneficial and they all have their place. It's just when and where to apply them.
So how do you know when and where to apply them? Like I would have no idea.
So with regards to the basics, anyone can benefit from taking the basics like fish oil, zinc, magnesium. The reason they're so needed now is if you think day-to-day nutrition, we don't get as much fish oil and things like that as we might have previously. We don't eat fish regularly. Well, I'm guessing people don't. Also, the quality of nutrients in our food, it's not as good as it used to be. It's not as organic as it used to be or as it should be. So that's why taking things like zinc and magnesium can be hugely beneficial. You mainly get zinc from things like your shellfish and deep sea shellfish like oysters and things like that. And most people, you wouldn't really eat things like that often. So taking a zinc supplement is pretty important.
Okay. So your top three are fish oil and zinc and
And
magnesium.
yeah, and then I take probiotics as well. They're my basics. And then I've got like my protein powder and things like that. D3, I only take in winter. I don't know, to me it just makes sense. When I'm in summer, I'm always in the sun, so I'm getting adequate vitamin D. Just being outdoors. I'm actually outdoors a lot more in summer. Whereas in winter, when I think about it, sometimes I can go to work when it's dark and get home when it's dark, so I haven't really gotten much sun at all. So I do supplement vitamin D in the winter. Summer, not so much.
So did you say D3? Are there different types of vitamin D?
Um, Not 100% sure. Vitamin D3 is just the main one that that's available. But yeah,
Okay.
I haven't done much research into the different types of vitamin D. But
Okay.
yeah, that's the main one. That's the one that's in all even in your multivitamins and things like that.
I think that one's important. Is that the one that helps with bone density and things for like when you're postmenopausal women and osteoporosis, that sort of thing?
Yeah, vitamin D helps with literally everything. I think every cell in your body has a receptor site for vitamin D3. It's hugely crucial. So
Okay.
that's one thing that's one of your basics, and that's why I would supplement it if you're not getting adequate sunlight.
Okay, cool. Okay, now I mentioned at the beginning of the call that you were going to very generously give away something to our callers. So,
Yep.
do you want to tell us about what you're offering tonight?
Yeah, I'm giving away 5 nutrition consultations. So what I'll do is I'll go through all your current nutrition, and from there we'll make improvements. I'll also go through your current training, and I'll give you some recommendations and things like that.
Wow, okay. So, 5 going to be given away on this call. And all they have to do is just go to your Facebook page and share that latest status. Is that right?
Yep, yep, yep.
Yep. like the page if you haven't liked the page, but if you like and share, and then from that you're going to
Yeah,
choose
I'll do a
5
drawing.
winners. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that's very, very generous of you. Thank you. Now, I want to invite people to ask questions. I know we had some questions from Facebook earlier on in the week, but for people that are on the call, if you've got any particular questions that you want to ask Michael, now's the time to do it. Just jump in the chat box and type in your question, and we'll do it. But have you got some from Facebook earlier in the week? You want to start off with one of those ones?
Yeah, well, the ones I saw on your page, start with them. They're yeah, some of them good.
Okay. So what were some of them? I know there was a lot of personal ones about are you single? But we'll try and stick to the ones that were about health and fitness. I know someone asked, how do you choose a good personal trainer?
That's interesting. Finding a good personal trainer, it's almost who you know. So, personal training is personal training. So you want to find someone, like I was talking about before, who inspires you and who pushes you. If you're a member of a gym, just watch, trainers train other clients, see how focused they are, see how much attention to detail, they take and how much they care about their client. They're going to be the major factors. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting because for me, that how much they care about me is everything. Because I've struggled in the past to find different trainers who will give you that personal care and attention.
Yeah.
And once you have a real good connect with someone, that's really helpful for me. I find it really motivating. So that's interesting. Yeah. But I also like the fact that with you, you always tell me stuff that I don't know. So someone who's obviously doing research and training and can give you more information and build your knowledge as well as building your fitness routine, that really helps me too.
So, every personal trainer has the Cert 3 and 4, but at the end of the day, that's just the basics. There's so much to learn out there. We're constantly finding new things about nutrition and how the body works, how the body moves, things like that. So you want to train with someone who actually researches that and puts the time to study, because it's all for your benefit as the client.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned there that someone who's constantly learning, and that is the ability of the personal trainer to be able to personalize a program for you or customize a program. Is that important?
Definitely. Yeah. So like we talked about before, everybody is different. Everyone's got different goals. Everybody moves differently. So you have to develop a program that's going to work for them. So something that works for me may not work for you at all. Well, it doesn't mean that was a bad program, but it just wasn't right for you. So, you want to get a program that's actually tailored for your needs, something that you're confident with, and something that you can actually, complete and do well.
Yeah. So I suppose it's a clue that literally everybody is different. That's a clue that everybody needs a different approach, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, some people will use like a similar template, but I'll often have, a few little extra exercises for them or take out a few. So there's always some change. Now, when you're developing a program, you also need to screen and assess your clients. Like with the nutrition, you need to find where you're at. Same with training. You need to find out how well they move. You need to know that the exercise you're going to give them are going to work for them. So, it's all well and good writing programs for someone, but unless you've done that screening, it's not going to be as effective. So screen them first, find out how they move, find out what's weak, what's not working properly, then develop the program accordingly. And that's how you do it properly.
Okay. Now, I know one of the other Facebook questions was around, or one of the ones that I noticed anyway, was around trainers and training programs for people who are overweight. Have you had any experience with overweight clients, or do you mainly deal with like bodybuilding clients, or have you had any struggles yourself with weight?
Yeah, my clientele ranges. I've got guys who are already in great shape, already really fit, and then I've got people who are really overweight and really struggling. Myself personally, when I grew up, about year five, when I was about 10 years old, I kind of stopped playing sport as much, and yeah, I put on a lot of weight. I actually weighed more than what I do now when I was, 12 or 13. So I was quite a,
Really?
yeah, I was a,
Wow.
yeah,
You big chunker?
yeah, thanks for that. I'm really insecure about it. Nah, yeah, so I
I
just,
just can't imagine it.
yeah, well, I think it's been over the last maybe 8 years. I think I started getting into training about 14, 15. My mate got me into lifting weights just in his basement, and then I bought my own set of dumbbells and started training. I also used to jog around the block, and yeah, I just progressed it, got more passionate about it, and then now it's my career, and it's what I love. So yeah, I deal with
Yeah.
a range of clients, and yeah, I understand the journey.
Okay. Because one of my things, because I've got this insulin resistance, is a lot of my weight is carried in my tummy. And so
Yeah,
some of the exercises, like for example, a sit up is really not good for me.
no,
Whereas
no,
push ups are fine because I can use my arms and that's fine. But a sit up is bad because I'm sort of doubling over on my tummy. So is it
yeah.
important to find a trainer who kind of understands your specific needs?
Yeah, definitely, and that's what I talked about before. That screening process. Yeah, you're gonna find that out pretty quick if you're doing a good screen. Yeah, that's gonna cover that.
Yeah. Okay then. Have you got any of those other questions from Facebook? Because we've got some questions coming in on chat. If not,
Um, yeah, what was it? I think someone asked about injuries and things like that.
yeah, we've got Carol's asked, "What if I have back issues? Can I still
Yeah.
use the gym?"
Yeah. Now, what I would do first is if someone is training with you and they are actually, in pain or getting pain doing certain exercises, I'll try and accommodate for that as much as I can. But there's a certain point where I'm like, nah, you need to go see a physio. I need to refer you out to someone else, and then come back and train. Because if someone's in constant pain, you can dodge it as much as you want, but until you fix the problem, they're not really going to get good results.
So
So,
you refer them on to a medical professional, do you?
yeah, definitely, yeah, for sure. I've got
Wow.
a physio that I work closely with. His name's Adam Richardson from Physical Solutions in Joondalup. And I've actually sent the majority of my clientele there for just issues and things like that. So yeah, I definitely refer people out. Yeah, if I don't feel confident or if I don't feel that I can make an improvement for them, yeah, I'm going to get someone else who I know can help them for sure.
Okay. I've got a question from Lucas, and I don't even understand this first bit, but it's HIIT versus running or cardio for weight loss.
Yeah,
Do you
so HIIT
understand
is
that?
yeah, it's high intensity interval training. And I
Okay.
guess
High
by cardio.
intensity interval training. What is that?
So that's like your short burst stuff. So if you're doing sprints or something like that, you might be on a bike,
Okay.
20 seconds flat out fast you can, then rest for like a minute, then go again. So that's more your high intensity stuff. I'm assuming running cardio means like your steady state. For weight loss, um, they're both going to work, but the thing with steady state cardio, it burns body fat while you're doing it. But the thing is, when you stop, that fat loss pretty much shuts off. Okay. The thing with HIT or high intensity interval training is it's more about the recovery period after that you burn those calories and you actually burn more body fat. So because you're working at such a high intensity during HIT training, your body's then got to go through that recovery period after, and that requires more energy and that requires calories and things like that. So doing HIIT training is probably more time effective and more beneficial for fat loss than just running on a treadmill or doing something steady state. But they're both
Okay.
good. If you love running, go running. But yeah, interval training is probably the most effective thing for improving your body composition and weights, things
So
like
you
that.
can spend the same amount of time in exercise or training, but
Mm.
because you're doing it at a different intensity level, you
Different
have
weight.
different results. Oh, okay.
So HIIT, if you're actually doing HIIT effectively, you should only be lasting 20 minutes. Like HIIT training is supposed to be high intensity. So that's like your 20-second sprints, things like that. You should be dying after that kind of training. And that's why it's all about the recovery after. And that's why it's so effective. With steady state, you work up a sweat, you are burning calories, but nowhere near as much. You will have to run a lot longer to get, the same effect.
Okay. So do you do that HIIT training with your clients, or is that something specialized?
No, I do it with my clients. The best comparison I can give you is, if you look at the physique of a sprinter and then you look at the physique of a marathon runner, who looks, more aesthetically pleasing? It's more the sprinter. They got, more muscle mass, things like that. Whereas the sprinter is, they're still low body fat, but there's not much muscle mass there, things like that. So, yeah, I always go for the HIIT over. It's more time effective over steady state.
Okay then. And so if someone wanted to work with you on an ongoing basis, Michael, how can they work with you? Should they get in touch with you on the Facebook page, or what's the best way?
Yeah, the best way to get in contact with me is my Facebook page, or if you contact the gym, they can then refer you to me, which is Surge Health and Fitness at Clarkson. So yeah, those will be the best ways.
So search health and fitness at Clarkson.
Clarkson, yep, there's two. So there's one at Drovers Wanneroo and there's one at Clarkson. I'm at Clarkson.
At Clarkson, okay. So Search Health and Fitness at Clarkson is the gym, and they can also go to your Facebook page. And of course, just a reminder, if you do go to the Facebook page and you like and share the latest status, then you're in the draw. You could win one of the 5 free consults with Michael personally. Okay, we've got another few more questions coming in. Joel asks, how do I gain muscle on my calves? Can you sort of gain muscle in one particular spot?
Yeah, definitely. Calves is probably the worst thing to grow. Um,
Oh,
me personally,
why?
I don't know. It's I think calves is a massively genetic thing. Some people have them, some people don't. I definitely don't have them. I train those suckers hard and they refuse to grow. But yeah, the best way the calves, they're a muscle that you're using all the time, so you've got to shock them. Things like supersetting, drop sets, things like that, they're going to be the best things. Also, just varying your training. So you could go really do more heavy exercises on them, and then go into light, more reps, things like that. You've just got to shock them. It's about creating that stimulus. So yeah, just try
So
different
when you
things.
say, what is supersetting? What do you mean by that?
So you do like 2 exercises straight after each other. So you might do like a standing calf raise, then straight into a seated calf raise. So you're still working the calf, but just from different angles and things like that.
Okay, cool. I hope that's helped Joel. So Lucas asks, is there any advice for breaking through that wall of fatigue when you're exhausted and feel like another rep will kill you? I used to always say this to my personal trainer, I can't do any more, and he
Yeah,
would insist that I did.
yeah, yeah.
And how do you break through that wall of fatigue?
Just keep going for it. Yeah, you've got to push that threshold. So there is a point where you can't get another rep. All muscle fibers are firing. There's nothing left. That's your limit. That's what the term failure comes in. So pushing
So
through
how
that.
is there physical signs? Like my first trainer used to say that if I was swearing, sweating, or shaking or something, I think were
Yeah,
the sort of signs he said. And I was like, well, I don't swear, so if I'm doing that, we're in real trouble. Um, I don't really sweat a lot, like I'm not a high sweater. And so I'd have to be at the point of shaking to convince him that I had hit my wall.
Yeah. I
Are there
think when
other signs?
yeah, well, when they're not coming back up, or the bar or the weight's not coming up, they're probably done. Um, yeah, it can be a mental thing. So this is why getting someone to watch you or having a coach, watch how you do things. A lot of the time I can tell if they're really done or if they're just it's more of a mental thing. They're doing up mentally, and the body's switching off.
Yeah.
So breaking through that wall of fatigue, just keep going for it, keep pushing the limits. Some reps, I do myself or with clients, it might take me 10 seconds to get that up, or getting someone just to give you more of like not so much a spot, but almost like a force rep. So you're pushing everything, all you've got, and then you get someone just to give you that little bit extra just to get you through that. Yeah, they're just trying little techniques like that. It's going to be the best way.
Yeah, I definitely need a coach to go that, because when my mind gives up, then I give up.
Yeah.
I'm not great at pushing myself. It's like if you slap yourself across the face, you're never going to slap yourself as hard as someone else is going to slap
Oh
you.
yeah, definitely, for sure.
It's a
Yeah.
self-preservation thing, so that's why you need a coach. Okay, we're running out of time, but we have got a couple of more questions. So I think this was one of the questions that we had on Facebook too. It's about stretching. Should you stretch before a workout?
Okay. So if you're doing an exercise, so for example, if you're doing a squat, if you can't get into a good position and go full range of motion in the squat, yes, you should stretch pre-workout. You want to be able to get into good positions to do the exercise properly. So if you can't, then yeah, you need to stretch or do foam rolling, soft tissue work to actually get into a good position. Um, Now, the type of stretching, you're always going to go for more dynamic movements. When you stretch muscle, you can also weaken it temporarily. So, yeah, it always depends. So I'd need
So,
more of a,
sorry, when you stretch a muscle, you can weaken it. I
yeah,
didn't know that.
you're lengthening the muscle fibers. I'd have to do more research into, really why that happens. But yeah, you
Okay.
can weaken it temporarily. Mm.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're almost out of time. I really want to thank you for your time tonight. There was a whole lot of other things that I wanted to ask about as well,
Yeah,
like
good.
portion sizes and, and all those things. And I know on Facebook there was a lot of other messages too. But if people have some more questions, they can go to the Facebook page, can't they? Which
Yep.
is facebook.com/Michael Mulcahy PT. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. So if they put all their questions up there, yeah, I'll be more than happy to answer. I love answering questions.
Oh, okay, that's cool. And if they want to actually work with you, they can either come to the gym, which is Surge at Clarkson, or go to the Facebook page as well. Is that right?
Yep, definitely. Yep, either of those.
That's great. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, Michael. I know it's going to help a lot of people. It certainly helped me. I've learned a lot, and I
Yeah,
needed to learn a lot. So I'm just going to have a glass of water instead of Coke.
good choice.
Up
Where's the wine?
there. And I'm going to send everyone else off to the Facebook page so that they can enter the competition to win the 5 free consult. You don't win 5, you win 1 of 5. So 5 different people will win 1 consult with Michael. So I'll send them off to there now, and I hope that they get in touch with you, because I know that you really know your stuff and you're passionate about it. You want to work with people one-on-one, even though I keep advising you not to. And I know that you change lives, because I see. I hope you'll put up some results photos on the Facebook page soon, because the ones that
Yeah,
you've shown me are just absolutely incredible, the transformation that happens in people's bodies in just like 6 or 8 weeks. It's amazing. So thank you very much for your time tonight, and thank everyone on the call. I'm sure you've enjoyed it, but thank you for viewing. Remember, you can share it with your friends and they can watch a video replay as well if they want. So good night.
See ya. Thank you.